very good morning to you, Peter. Has she outplayed Cyril Ramaphosa, and to what end, if that is the case?
Yeah, morning, Jane. Look, I don't think there's anything that dramatic has happened politically. In order for the Command Council to turn on Cyril, would have required a lot of his own allies to turn in on him as well, including Jackson Mthembu, who's been one of the great defenders of this decision. So I suspect that what has happened is that Cyril has sort of basically taken note of, a general lack of enthusiasm to lift the smoking ban, and that he'll come back to fight another day. And I think that his calculation will be that, rather lose an early skirmish like this than the whole war, because there's an economy to open up. He knows that. And that's going to be a lot more difficult than just smoking, or alcohol. There's lots of things to open that he needs done. Because don't forget that, his big target after this epidemic has passed is to reshape the South African economy somehow. And he can't do that if it's on its knees and has no money and there are no taxes in the SARS coffers.
But surely how he deals with this skirmish, as you call it, will indicate some sort of power that he has or has not going forward.
Well, it will, but, we'll see how he does use it. He tends to be slow in the way he uses it. He is going to have to demonstrate something in the next couple of days, obviously. But I just don't, you have to, it's so unlikely that anybody would try and knock him out of the game now. I just can't see the politics of it working. I think that there was an argument, and he just decided to, that it wasn't worth splitting the cabinet now on an issue that can be resolved in a few weeks' time.
Okay, and Dlamini-Zuma, what is she up to? You've been quite outspoken about her this weekend.
No, well, she's an ANC princess, so, she does, what she wants to do, and she is impervious to criticism and other people's opinions, and she's just being herself. The really big story, I think, in the COVID-19 narrative generally is whether we've diagnosed it right. If you look at the scientific journals now all over the world, except South Africa, what people are talking about increasingly is real sort of laboratory evidence and of a lot of blood clotting and a lot of blood coagulation in the people who actually die of the disease. People are dying not because they've got pneumonia, but because they've had strokes and heart attacks. And I just urge people to, for their own interest, I don't think anybody can do about it, but just to have a look at the new science writing in the last 3 or 4 days. It's very interesting.
Okay, so we've got to look at science, we've got to look at the way forward and kick-starting the economy, but what about how we're playing it at the moment? We're looking at an art form of bullying at the top and bottom.
Yeah, the point about the science, though, is interesting because we may not even be talking about a respiratory disease. We may be talking about a vascular problem. And so it's possible that the science may isolate the people who are just vaguely anti-smoking or anti-alcohol anyway, whatever the case may be, whatever the disease may be. I just think, that the cigarette issue it's not a red herring by any means. It's real, and Cyril Ramaphosa has without question been embarrassed and diminished. But that is not an impossible situation. But it has to happen again at least one more time, where he gets knocked out in an important decision. But lifting the ban on tobacco now for level 4 is not the end of the world, or not being able to lift it is not the end of the world. And you can still lift it during level 4 if the argument changes and if the science changes.
So maybe that was just a warning shot. Peter Bruce, good to talk to you. Thank you.